What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. Today was a absolutely brutal day. I want to break it down on what really caused it and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid went down 8.47%, 1517 the low. So a brand new 52-week and all-time low, 1646 the high, and about 9.2 million shares being traded. So you did see a little bit more institutional transactions, evenly divided, mind you. So half buying, half selling. So this honestly was a little bit better than a lot of other stocks that I generally look at. Dark pool, these are all the transactions that did occur. So given how active shorts were today, it is fair to assume that most of these transactions were linked to them. When it comes down to shorts, they did return by the end of the day 63,000 shares, 29.6% of the free floats being shorted. Works out to be 42.7 million shares overall being shorted, but at the peak they were increasing around, it looks like 826,000. So again, most of these dark pool transactions were linked to them. So with that said, let's break it down on what the hell happened today causing this massive sell-off. So NASDAQ went down 2.29%, S&P 1.65%, Dow 1.65%. So we all know that we did have the shutdown come to a final end. But because of how long that lasted, we didn't get a lot of key labor data. And so unfortunately, all the October data that we would be getting in November, that's not going to come out. So in general, that is exactly as well what Powell was going to really make a sound decision on for the upcoming December 10th meeting. So because of that announcement of us not potentially getting any data, now there is only a 51.9% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. This is down from 95.5% almost 1 month ago. So in general, we all kind of know how Powell is. And so Powell just says, hey, you know what? We're going to consider the data, blah, blah, blah. So since we're not going to get the data, market is essentially pricing out this 25 basis point cut. So the market always looks at kind of future catalysts, right? No different than Lucid investors or any other stock. You always look at the next big catalyst. And for the market, it was going to be shut down and then rate cut. And since now we're not going to get any rate cut, the market is kind of freaking out. So it is what it is. At the end of the day, though, Lucid's not really doing anyone any favors because they haven't put out any news. And ever since their actual earnings, they haven't done any interviews. So Mark and management have kind of gone into a sheltered state and they haven't really done anything. So that's rather unfortunate. And still, I think one thing that management can really do is buy the damn stock. I'm going to consistently say that because if they aren't buying, then it shows no level of commitment. And I think just investors, in all honesty, they're very tired of Lucid. And for those of you that have been watching a lot of my Lucid videos, which I do appreciate, you can probably tell from my tone that I'm really, really tired of the BS. Like everyone and their dog makes so many excuses for Lucid. It's just somewhat sickening. And I think in reality, there's a big difference between investing for the long term versus making kind of good short-term swings. And so every time someone gets stuck holding a stock, everyone just says, hey, you know what, this is a long-term hold, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, maybe say that for 1 year, but Lucid has been going down for 5 years. There's been this isn't a generational type of holding, isn't what investing truly is. I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong, but I think it's more for kind of future growth and companies that are actually showing some improvement. At this stage, this is very still risky. You can see even Seeking Alpha and many brokers out there have warning signs about Lucid. And even the Elliott Wave Technicals right now, given the circumstances, is projecting for it to hit between that 1297 and 1374 range in the short term. So things could get very real very fast in a negative way. And despite all of that, you did have a new rating that did come out. It was a $30 buy benchmark, and Mickey, who has a 67% success rating. So I think in general, my experience with benchmark is not really the greatest. I've personally seen some speculative things about them, how they could be paid but still nonetheless $30 isn't much upside if you think about it, right? That's only $3 kind of pre-reverse stock split. So I get it, the market is crappy, pricing out 25 basis point cut, but still Lucid's not doing anyone any favors. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. And so I think coming from an investor standpoint, if you really do want to make a big change, or at least try to, you need to go on to Lucid's posts every time they love to post something on Twitter. Call them out. That is how people, and they will see that people are not satisfied. I think way too many people kind of just, I don't know how to say this nicely, they bend the knee. They don't want to be critical. They boast about them. Even technically, just with everything, you had 𝗪𝗓 post this today, which isn't new information, mind you. They already put out this video a couple weeks back, but it just shows 𝗪𝗓's co-CEO, this individual, and Lucid interim CEO, Mark, shared a moment, blah, blah, blah. Like I said, nothing really crazy, but you have a lot of individuals retweeting this saying, hey, you know what? Praise Lucid. This is better than Tesla, blah, blah, blah. I think, yeah, it's good to be proud of what you invest in, but you need to actually back it up, if that kind of makes sense. So nonetheless, this is kind of my general thoughts on what affected Lucid and the broader market today, and what Lucid can do. All they have to do is just buy, even if it's 100,000 or whatever. Like, technically Mark's very, very overpaid, so he can technically afford it, but just put your money where your mouth is if you do truly believe in Lucid. And as I brought up, technically that's never happened aside from the PIF. But nonetheless, aside from that, looking at the options, 1.5 million in calls, 3.7 in puts, and then 55% of all the options being done are bearish in nature. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $16 range, so not much upside is anticipated. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 16, looks like 15.50 going into next week, and even kind of 13.50 by December the 5th. So things aren't looking all too great. These are some of the transactions, like I said, on the secondary market. Right now with it at 15.17, it is below this S2, so trading between this S2 and this S3. 12.34 is going to be the next strong support, and that's kind of where Elliott Wave Technicals is somewhat projecting for it to go. Then 15.32 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. So it's very weird to see that Lucid got a fairly good bullish rating. But despite that, though, it was just a bloodbath. So again, it was a very crappy day. But nonetheless, though, on the actual chart itself, Lucid isn't looking all too great. So this is resolve. You guys don't need that for Lucid. The only positive is the fact that it's breaking off the overbought. So stochastic RSI is at 42, so somewhat neutral, not overbought nor oversold. But even looking at the market position, you don't see any willing buyers. Funny enough, though, this one stood out to me. I didn't open it because it's just a stupid clickbait title, but probably a lot of people will fall for it. Looking for a squeeze, here are the top 10 most shorted stocks. So people always assume that there's a correlation between heavily shorted and a squeeze. That's not always the case. So definitely anyone saying that Lucid is a squeeze play or is going to see a god candle, as what people love to throw out, don't pay attention to them. And so yeah, let me know your general thoughts on Lucid. Are you buying? Are you selling? What's your kind of honest opinion of Lucid? Or do you drink the Kool-Aid, as what a lot of people like to phrase it as? Do you still truly, without a doubt, believe that Lucid is going to succeed? So what's your general thoughts? One final thing though, if you are looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been on point and bangers. So if you're looking for that, pop over to my Patreon, link in the description below, and also comments. I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades, worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.